Vroom, vroom, here we are into animating race cars. So I always like this assignment. It's really fun. It reminds me when I was young, I was in the Boy Scouts, and there was this, I don't know if it was an assignment or what they called them, but basically this task of we had to carve out this wooden car. And basically you would end up doing it with your dad or whoever, and I ended up doing it with my dad. And I remember we ended up putting weights in the very front of the car. Which I don't know if we were cheating or if it was allowed, but yes. And the idea was then, all the other boys would go and make them as well, and then you would race them. And I was trying to find a picture, but I did not. I did find this certificate of recognition so clearly I did not win. It does say I got the most electrifying car though, and I even got one of these things. Yes, so look at that. What a fun little memory. So we are going to do that. It's a perfect this is a perfect idea to kind of showcase spacing. So open up this file. I am going to guide you only part of the way through this. You should have a general idea of where this is going and already how to do it based off of the previous lecture, but I will get us going and started. So right now you can see that there are 5 different cars right here. There is a bubble right here, which is basically going to hold in place. You can imagine it like a futuristic bubble, and then right at the very last frame, it's going to boom, pop over. This next one is going to be your ease in and ease out, which is going to be typically normal. Then your next one is going to be a fast start and a slow finish. The next ones will be a slow start and a fast finish. Then you will have this one that stops in the middle of the race and then keeps going. So let's go ahead and start setting some keys. So first thing up, let's go ahead and select all 5 race cars. Racers at the start, and then let's go ahead on your timeline down here. Yours may have looked something like this, where it was at like 250, where you had a whole bunch of frames. Let's go ahead and click this and then say 35, and then let's kind of frame this section right here so that we can only see this wider part, something like that. Cool. This will give us a stop and end. So if we hit play, so if you hit spacebar, now at frame 35, instead of 250, it'll loop back and start again. Cool. There we go. Okay, so like I said, select all 5 of these cars and go to frame 1, and then we are going to set a key. So go ahead and set a key like that. You should see them all over here. Great. Now I want you to go to frame 30, and I want you to make sure that you have the move tool selected, and let's move these all the way over to say, like, let's say if you see over in the transform, let's move them around 50 units. It doesn't matter exactly, but you see this right here, how we're moving them about 50 units. So we should have something that looks like that. And when you do that, go ahead and set a key as well. So now you've set a key on both things. If you go ahead and hit the space bar, boom, cool. So this is as if every kid, basically every car that they built, even though they were vastly different in their race, they all started at the same time and ended at the exact same time. And on top of that, not only did they end at the same time, they moved there in the exact same fashion, as we can see. See how it's all even? What we want to do is change that. So all of our race cars are going to end on frame 30. We're not going to change that. This is going to be a 5-way tie where they all start and they all end at the exact same time. So this is a 5-way tie. What we want to change is how they get to this ending, right? So you'll often hear me say A pose and B pose. This is our A pose. This is our B pose. We need to change the way in which we are going to go to the B pose. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So this first one, like I said, is going to this one up here is going to pop over into place. Out of all of these, there is one that is already done for us. I wonder if you can guess which one that is. It should be pretty obvious based off of the text on there. One of them is already done. And that's this guy right here, the more car looking like one, right? So right now it is easing in and easing out. If we go and we look at our graph editor, let's open up animation up here. Let's select this car right here, and let's look at it through here. We are going to be looking at, oh, we're in the dope sheet. Here we go. Great. Let's frame this. What I like to do is I like to get the keys and then I like to frame it like that. Great. So we are now looking at the yellow car, this one right here. And if we look at the spacing, which is determined by this, we can see that it's easing out of this pose and easing into this pose. Woo. So that car is already done for us. Awesome. We have that that one done. Let's go and animate. Let's put this up like this. I'm going to click and drag this because we don't need that other view, like this. If you don't see the colors, what you can do is you can click this viewport shading right here. So this one, by default, it'll be on this, but if you go ahead and you click viewport shading over here, you'll start to see the colors. Might make it a little bit easier to watch for you. Cool. Let's do this top one. So this one, like I said, is a magical bubble that we just want to all of a sudden be there at the end. Looks like we have some extra keys on frame 40. I don't actually even know where that came about. So let me go ahead and delete these. Oh, those are the tangent handles. My bad. Okay, cool. So there we go. We're gonna focus on this one right here. So let's isolate this. So we're isolating the X. I'm gonna go ahead and frame this. Now, like I said, we want it to hold until the very last moment and then pop over there. Can you visualize what that should look like in the graph editor? Remember what we talked about last time. So this is the one exception where it's going to be different. So by default, we are using a certain type of handles right here, which is so there are these three things: handle type, interpolation mode, and easing type. For the most part, we probably won't use easing type too much. We're probably going to be focusing on these two. In this particular case, we're going to do something that's called interpolation mode, and we are going to make this one, if you look here, what we're going to do is we're going to make this one called constant. So I'm going to select these keys right here like this. Then I'm going to go back to key, and I'm going to go to interpolation type, and I'm going to change this to constant. And now, hopefully this is what you were visualizing. Do you see this? Now it doesn't move, it doesn't move, it doesn't move, it doesn't move, and then at the very last second, boom, like that. So if we play this now, and then it pops there in place. This is called in the animation industry stepped mode. Typically, this is how I've known it from day one. They call it. It looks like they call it constant. But typically, if you hear like stepped mode, animators animate in stepped mode, and we can get into that more later. This is typically used for like blocking, meaning at the beginning of your animation. Cool. So it's important to note this, that there are first interpolation modes. By default, the program is usually in Bezier. So if we now click to the one down below, and we look at this, the interpolation type, by default, this one is already in here, right here. So if we were to click this and we were to go to key, interpolation type, Bezier, you'll notice that nothing changed because that's what it already is. Cool. So now we've done two different handle types. Now let's go down to the red car. The red car, I'm actually not going to do this for you. I assume that the red car and the blue car, I'm going to have you try to figure out on your own. So remember, this one should be a fast start and a slow finish, and this one should be a slow start with a fast finish. Based off the previous lecture, you should have a good idea of doing that. And actually, with this last one, I'm actually going to, I'm going to see if you can do this on your own as well. Remember, do not we're doing this with tangent handles only. So do not add keys in order to do this. Like I went over last week, that is a possibility, but for this particular assignment, we're doing all hour spacing with tangent handles. Cool. I'm excited to see your race cars. Cool. I'll see ya.